Hey guys, what's up? It's iFlynn here. Zephyr Prime got released a couple days ago, and in today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys what you get within the Zephyr Prime Access Pack, as well as just taking a look at some of the weapons and stuff. And just as I'm making this video, I've noticed that my Zephyr Prime is actually infected with the Nidus zit on her neck, which you can't actually see because it's hidden behind the detail. But as she moves her head, you can see it right there. Okay, now it's gone. So, man, okay. I didn't notice that, but I'm noticing it now, and that's going to trigger the hell out of me for the next week, because you have to wait 7 days for that thing to disappear, but, you know, that's besides the point. But I'm going to be showing you guys what you get within the Zephyr Prime Access Pack, which is going to set you back about £92 if you're buying it in the UK. It's like $120 or $150 in the United States, not too sure, but that's the one where you get Zephyr Prime, the Kronen Prime, the Tiberon Prime, and also the Zephyr Prime accessories. So the Zephyr Prime accessories are actually Gavat armor, which my cat Ningen is wearing right now, so it doesn't look that good, at least in my opinion. So let's go ahead and interact with the cat and see what it looks like in the animation. Not the best looking thing. It could have looked a lot better. I feel like it could have had a lot more prime detail to it, just like more of metallic stuff and things like that. It looks kind of like plastic-ish to me. I don't really like it that much, but whenever you compare the detail or the quality of this to the quality of the operator armor that you actually get, like, the difference is so clear. Like, this looks like it had a butt ton of work put into it, and then you look at the Gavat armor and it's just like, well, where did all the effort go, you know? Like, wait, what? You know? But yeah, so this is the operator armor that you get. This is the entire thing, and you can go through and you can customize it how you like. You can make the metallics like red or purple or whatever to kind of match your frame and stuff like that, and it just looks dope. Like, it's probably my favorite operator armor in the game as of now. But yeah, other than that, we have Zephyr Prime, Kronen Prime, and the Tiberon Prime. I've got all my stuff fully formed already. Zephyr Prime, if you're new to the game, she's probably one of the more underwhelming frames in the game, because she's not, like, necessarily useful, but she has got, like, her own sort of, like, niche playstyle where you're building around her third ability, and her third ability is kind of like a windshield where you put it around you, and every single bullet that comes towards you or projectile that comes towards you is basically just going to be whiffed away because of, you know, just how the ability works. So she's got a very high health pool, and she's more of a fun frame to play. You use her a lot, or you could use her a lot in the Plains of Eidolon, and that's how you're going to get, like, the most fun out of her, I would say, because of her first ability, which kind of just shoots you, like, across the map. Like, it's really fun to play with. Second ability is kind of just like a projectile that you shoot out, and it'll knock enemies back, and then her fourth ability will spawn in 3 tornadoes that will suck enemies up, and you can change the damage type of those tornadoes by shooting it. So let's say you're using a gun which has corrosive damage on it, you can shoot the tornado, change the damage type of the tornado, and then it's going to, like, strip enemy armor and stuff like that. So there's a lot of different augments for Zephyr. So we have Jet Stream, which is going to increase your movement speed and projectile speed, which you can use for bow and arrows. You can use it for grenade launchers, and we have, like, I think it's called Funnel Tornado. I forget what the mod's actually called, but it's a mod for her fourth ability, which spawns in more tornadoes, but the tornadoes are significantly smaller, and it, you know, you can get more enemies within the tornadoes, and it'll strip away armor more effectively, like, depending on which type of status effect you're running. So, like, let's say you shoot viral into the tornadoes, it would, like, reduce the enemy's maximum health and stuff like that. So, yeah, she is an interesting frame, okay? So this is the build that I went for. It's just a basic Jetstream build. So we have Intensify and Pyro Drift for our Pyro Strength on here, so we get, like, a decent effect from Jetstream. We get the speed boost and stuff like that, and we get the increased projectile speed. Constitution, Prime Continuity for the duration. Stretch to increase the range of all of our abilities. Prime Flow for energy. Vitality for health. Streamline, so we can cast our abilities more. Obviously the Jetstream Augment, which will increase your movement speed and projectile speed. And then Pyro Drift, well, I already went over Pyro Drift. Energy Siphon on here, so we can get energy over time, which is pretty dope. So this is the only build that I'm running on Zephyr currently, but I am going to be making an everything you need to know about Zephyr within the next week, so that'll be up, and then you guys will know everything you need to know about Zephyr and Zephyr Prime, and that'll go over a couple of builds. This is just like a movement speed kind of get around, have fun with a frame. If we take a look at the stats, the difference between the regular Zephyr and Zephyr Prime, you get more armor, energy, and sprint speed. So I believe you get 0.05 more sprint speed. You get, I don't know how much armor, but you get more armor, energy, and sprint speed. And I'm also getting DM'd on Discord. I don't think you guys were able to hear that, but I was able to hear that, and that was kind of weird. So yeah. Besides the point, going on to the Tiberon. Tiberon is probably one of my favorite weapons in the game now. It's got 3 different firing modes. We have semi-auto, free round burst, and we have full auto. But the big downside with it, in my opinion, is the fact that like your hand clips through almost the barrel of the gun. If you're paying attention to Zephyr's left hand there, like look, it's just clipping through where my cursor is, and that's super bad. That's really annoying and really noticeable, and that's for like every single frame. So if we were to go to Wukong, you know, it's clipping through the barrel of the gun, and that's like, so, you know, that's a big downside, at least in my opinion, but, you know, okay, moving on to the Tiberon build. There's 2 different ways that I like to build this. You can either go with a 100 munition build and run it for status and viral. So we have Serration, Split Chamber, 100 munitions, Vital Sense, and Point Strike for a crit. Prime being corrupted because that's what I was testing against. And then we have our dual stat elemental mods for viral damage. So we have Malignant Force for toxin, Ram rounds for cold, which makes viral. Then we get a 66.8% status chance. This is on the burst fire, which is probably the one that you should be using the most because it's the most consistent in my opinion. We get a 66.8% status as well as a 70% crit and a 6.6% crit multiplier. And depending on the mode that you're using, you're going to have, like, you know, different stats. So we have a 75% crit chance on the semi-auto with a 7.5 times multiplier, but like the semi-automatic is probably like the weakest mode because like you're not dishing out that damage on a consistent basis. Like there's a delay between your shots, so you're better off going with the burst or the full auto. So full auto can be good whenever you're going up against like a shielded target, like you want to take down those shields really fast, but I don't know. I think the burst is probably just the best mode to keep it in just for consistency's sake and dealing like a decent amount of damage across the board to every single enemy that you come across. But yeah, you can run this build or you can run, of course, your basic corrosive build. So it's the exact same thing except we swap out our dual stat elemental mods from viral to 90% elemental mods for corrosive. So we have Infected Clip and Stormbringer here to give us our corrosive damage, of course, and that's going to make it so we can deal a decent amount of damage. Moving on to the Kronen Prime. The Kronen Prime, they're different. They're definitely different. They're very underwhelming when you compare it to every single other weapon in this game, but they're still good. Like, you can still kill enemies fairly well with this type of build. You want to build it more towards status, so I've went ahead and thrown on Condition Overload here, and because of the polarities that came with it, I didn't like go ahead and form it again to remove that dash polarity there, so I can run more dual stat elemental mods. But it's basically a status build, Prime Pressure Point, Condition Overload, and then we have our Vicious Frost, paired that with Drifting Contact, Prime Fever Strike, paired with Vicious Frost to give us our viral, Weeping Winds to up our status chance even more as we keep on hitting the enemies. You know, we get more status chance, which makes sense. Prime Fury, because we're not going to be getting any Berserker procs, so you could actually go ahead and throw on even more status chance with this build. If I go ahead and throw in my, what's it called? Let's see, where is it at? I forget what the name of the mod is. Violent Scourge. So there you go. I don't know why I had Berserker on there, but here you are. So we have our viral damage, which goes up. So we have Violent Scourge, Vicious Frost, 62.4%. So we're going to be dealing high numbers. You could maybe throw on Blood Rush if you really wanted to, if you wanted the formula again. But I don't know. I'll make a video covering the Kronen Prime on its own later on, and we'll take a look at like better builds and testing them in the simulacrum and stuff like that. But, you know, you can also run Blood Rush Body Count if you really wanted to. So you just go ahead and make your basic builds. You'd have your Prime Fever Strike, you would have your Shocking Touch, you would have your maybe your Life Strike if you wanted to run that. You would have your Organ Shatter, if we can go ahead and get that, as well as Berserker. So there you go. There's your Blood Rush Body Count. But it's not going to be as good. Like, you're only going to be getting yellow crits, and sometimes you won't be critting at all unless you're building like a massive combo counter, and it's not worth to run this over, you know, your Condition Overload in your config A. So, you know, whether or not you buy Zephyr Prime Access, it's really down to you. She is an alright frame in terms of like if she's fun to play. So let's just go ahead and jump into the Plains of Eidolon, and I'll give you guys like kind of a look at what her abilities do, so you can get a feel for it. But it's really just down to whether or not you have money lying around and you want to support the developers, right? Because that's what this Prime Access is going to come down to, because Zephyr as a frame is underwhelming because she's not useful in any sense. Like, the only thing that she's very useful for is maybe getting around in the Plains of Eidolon, like so. But even at that, there's frames like Nova, who have Wormhole. You have frames like Vault, who have their speed ability. Nezha with Firewalker. Those frames can get around the Plains of Eidolon just as well as Zephyr can. And they also have, like, more useful abilities on top of that. Where Zephyr is just like, oh, I have this. I can knock enemies over and deal a minimalistic amount of damage. I have my third ability, which makes me invincible. Where, like, someone like Nezha can also do that. Like, Nezha has, like, a discount Iron Skin. And then Zephyr also has her Tornadoes, which, sure, it can strip armor, but so can other, you know, so can other abilities and other frames and stuff like that. And I can't aim because I don't have a crosshair here, but you can see how I was able to change the elemental damage type to corrosive there just by shooting. So yeah, we can actually go ahead and melee and change it to viral as well. So that's viral damage right there. But yeah, so she's like a discount Vault with a jumping ability, which allows you to jump. Okay, like so. You hold it down, hold down your one, let go, and then you can float in the air and you can shoot down at your enemies, like so. And then you can press your one again, and then we can aim straight down the way, and we can dive bomb like that, which is cool, but it deals a very minimalistic amount of damage. It's more about the mobility, and that's really all she's for. Mobility, being invincible while being mobile, and then flinging enemies around the place in a corrosive tornado that you can make bigger by shooting your 2 into. So yeah, that's Zephyr in a nutshell, really. She's not useful. She's still underwhelming. It's still Zephyr. It's Burb. I mean, the most useful thing that you're gonna get, like, out of the Zephyr Prime is probably the fact that you can play a Zephyr Prime rather than normal Zephyr in Flappy Zephyr. So go to your Zephyr Prime, go to Appearance, press Z, and then let it load, and then we can play Flappy Zephyr. Fun fact, D. Taylor was in my stream, and she was like, if you can beat 10 points, I'll give you platinum codes. And I was like, sure. So I ended up beating 10 points. I'm not a professional at Flappy Zephyr, okay? This is 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. Best game mode. Best game mode. Easy. Okay, we're at 9. Am I going to do this in my first attempt? Oh, we beat 10. We're at 11. My boy, I'm dead. 12. Okay, so, yeah. Go play Flappy Zephyr. Get Zephyr Prime. Play Flappy Zephyr. And then tweet at me, at iFlynn, what your high score in Flappy Zephyr is. And, yeah. Zephyr Prime. I'll have more detailed videos in the coming days about Zephyr, the Kronen Prime, and the Tiberon Prime. Expect the Tiberon Prime and the Kronen Prime first, and then we'll have everything you need to know about Zephyr and Zephyr Prime to top it off, with multiple builds going over her Funnel Cloud augment, as well as the Jetstream augment and stuff like that. So, yeah, thank you guys for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, go ahead, hit that like button below. If you want to see more Warframe content from me, hit subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.